So The Last Color has already received a lot of international recognition, and it is your directorial debut. How does it feel when the first film that you direct is such a success already internationally?
Success तो मुझे पता नहीं है, मुझे ये लगता है कि when you're telling a story from the heart, it's a very rare opportunity
Mhm,
when you can actually make it, because I feel everybody
mhm.
has a story to tell. And
Yeah.
काफी साल लगे हमको बनाने में. It humbles me when saw standing ovation at United Nations and film festivals in Europe and America. It was very moving for a person who's made a story which is totally original to a different extent. मतलब उस मूवी की ओरिजिनलिटी के लोगों के सिर्फ people keep still ask me, okay, how did the story come out to be so original?
Yeah.
That is something very important to me, because as a chef, as an artist who lives in America, we know it that
Mhm,
यहाँ पे plagiarism पे बहुत ज़्यादा चर्चा होती है. So when
mhm,
people saw it, everybody had the first response. My God, the originality is to the next level of the film. मेरे लिए वो बहुत ज़रूरी था as a comment, compliment, or
mhm,
just a statement. But I think, Divyanshi, for me, the most important thing came when the movie was screened at the United Nations, and that was very humbling when 800 people stood up and applauded for the movie. गूंज रहे थे सारे auditoriums, corridors. That was something very important to me. A movie should bring some change, because it
mhm.
cannot be just for commercial or
De-
entertainment purpose
Definitely.
when I'm
Yeah.
making this kind of cinema. And I don't have to make this, imagine at the age of 50 to pick up the world's most difficult profession. I'm soon touching 50, and the amount of movies are difficult, because you're open to criticism, you are new in this, people can be unforgiving in this. But I said no. I feel that the medium which can bring the biggest change is films, and we should venture into this with full planning and wholeheartedly, most importantly. Divyanshi, I feel that 99% also work can be seen, 100% of the work shines. And that's when you give 100% to it, people can tell the difference.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. So, like you said, like the movie we know, it's based on your book of the same name, the book that you wrote, The Last Color. So,
Right.
when you were writing the book, did you know that this will be the story that will take you to filmmaking?
Actually, I was having a very hard time with my left hand, which I've spoken about it. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
was going through some series of surgeries. Even after the surgeries, my rehab was difficult. And the
Right.
doctor in New York, he warned me, "Okay, if you want your hand to be having the same grip, you need to rest." And that was
Okay.
like almost like 3 to 4 weeks. एक महीने से थोड़ा सा कम था. Then I
Mm-hmm.
used all that time to write the full novel. And I used to use the keyboard just in one hand. And this is in 2016, I think. And I did the
You
entire
wrote it in
thing.
a month?
मंथ से थोड़ा मतलब और भी तो काम चल रहा था मेरा बाकी कुक बुक्स वगैरह का, बट दिस वी गेव हंड्रेड
Uh-huh.
परसेंट टू इट. ऑलमोस्ट मंथ से थोड़ा सा कम था, पर लगा था. And with the novel,
Wow.
there's a girl, when I'm writing collaborators, his name is Paul. He's American, and his heritage is Greek, so he brings in a different sensibility. So he was there, and then we started
Mm-hmm.
writing the screenplay, because he said, do the screenplay right now, because you never know if this could be a movie. I'm like, यार कुक बुक्स तो मैं किसी को बोलता हूँ छाप देते हैं कोई भी पब्लिशिंग हाउस, बिकॉज यू हैव प्रूव्ड योरसेल्फ फॉर 30
Yeah,
years.
of course.
इस बुक को छापने के लिए वी गोना हैव आवर ओन सेट ऑफ चैलेंजेस. दिस इज गोना बी अ टफ गेम, बट वी आर एंटरिंग अ टोटली न्यू बैटलफील्ड आल्सो. But when the novel was done, and I got the cover shot with Neena ji dancing, so we said, the guy's name is Rajesh Kumar, who actually shot that click exactly at the right time, because Neena ji was not posing, she was moving in a circle at that time. So we got everything, and we took it as a package to Bloomsbury, and they said, this works for us because it's very original story. And we surprised Neena ji with the book. And
That's lovely.
but there are too many elements, because I'm not a regular filmmaker, who is.
Yeah.
So I had to use that privilege, that non-training should be able to create new direction. जिसको रास्ता नहीं आता एग्जैक्ट सड़क का, वो हो सकता है कोई और गोल घूम के रास्ता दिखा दे. Something new he can
Definitely.
create.
Sometimes the roads you don't know take you to destinations that you were supposed to be at.
Galat train, right destination.
Right, exactly. Okay, sir. So, talking of heritage, the film is finally releasing in its home country, India. What are your thoughts about it? How are you feeling?
He was supposed to release it after Holi, but
Yeah. Okay.
what was going on, the world shifted.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
ke,
Right.
and people who know me, they know it कि मैं हार जल्दी मानता नहीं हूँ. पत्थर खा के सब कुछ खा के बैठा रहता हूँ, पर हार नहीं मानता मैं. And मैंने कहा लगा कि ये we shouldn't give up on this, and we should do a proper release as much to our best of our ability and the times, understanding the government's rules and regulations. It's very amazing that people will be able to get a glimpse, because this is a big screen movie. Because Varanasi, it's very difficult to see Varanasi and enjoy its beauty. It's beautiful in any space and every frame, and but to see it on the big screen, you're going to get a different kick. The way we have captured the locations, because even the recce of this movie took us 3 months. And people think कि वाराणसी में तो वहीं शूट किया होगा. हमने डिसाइड कर लिया कि वहां पे शूट नहीं करना जहां पे सब कर रहे हैं. गलियां नहीं ढूंढनी है, घाट नहीं
Hmm.
ढूंढनी है. So you'll see those new things are very, very inspiring. And that's why it took us a lot of time to make the movie. Pure love. Every frame is a painting.
Right. So, sir, we just talked about Neena Gupta ma'am a while ago. So, what would you say about her? Like that you've been directing a film for the first time and with her. So, how was the experience? Were there any moments that you would like to share? Any incident, कुछ भी?
मैं फनी इंसिडेंट शूट कर बताता हूँ आपको.
हाँ
नीना
जी,
जी के
प्लीज.
साथ ना एक सीन था, और
Hmm.
डांस सीक्वेंस थी. सो नीना जी के डांस सीक्वेंस मूवी में बहुत हाई नोट ऑफ द मूवी is showing the true colors of this woman. For the last 30-40 years, she's been suppressed of a life of a widow without any colors. अब कुछ ऐसी कोई बात होती है which I can't tell you. एक छोटी सी बात एक छोटी लड़की के साथ एक ऐसी होती है कि she suddenly starts feeling alive. तो लड़की पूछती है इनसे कि मैडम आप रंगों से हमेशा डरती थी. कहती नहीं, मैं तो बचपन में बहुत होली खेलती थी, मैं तो राधा बनती थी, होली में खूब रंगों में खेल के नाचती थी. तो लड़की कहती है इस होली पे आप पे रंग फेंकूंगी. जस्ट दैट थॉट, it something inside her becomes alive. So I wanted to exaggerate and magnify that moment. I wanted to hold on to that feeling she's she's like, it's like all her life she waited for that somebody to tell her. And she acts, नहीं हम नहीं खेल सकते होली. कहती नहीं आप कुछ भी कीजिए, इस बार तो होली. And then I wanted to show that what is she feeling inside as a
Hmm.
symbolism. तो छत के ऊपर इतनी दूर जाके we had to shoot a dance sequence नीना जी का. And
Okay.
she's such a, I've never, she's genius. She practiced all night, like, because she knew it कि सूरज की जो लोकेशन है वो चेंज हो जाएगी थोड़ी देर में. We have to finish the
Hmm.
whole shot in one shot.
Yeah.
And she cannot make a mistake. Because the thing is कि सूरज अगर ऊपर निकला है वो उतनी देर के लिए सिर्फ ऑरेंज कलर होता है. I don't know if you know.
Hmm.
If you have you been to Varanasi, then you can tell कि सूरज का जो कलर
No,
होता
I
है.
haven't been to Varanasi, but I'm into photography a bit, so I know sun ki position. It just really, yeah.
I've been in photography, but when you shoot a sunrise on Ganges, I told Neena ji when I was explaining it, I said, Neena ji, जब सूरज उदय होगा ना आपको लगेगा सूरज सिर्फ अपनी बेटी को देखने के लिए निकलता है. And this is the feeling you get, the way the sun rises and the entire river turns to pink. And that only happens for 2 minutes, 120 seconds. And Neena ji had to do the whole sequence in 120 seconds. And we are not there. Everything has been shot by drone. We are all hiding under this house. So
Oh,
imagine how much we don't know what we are getting into, and we don't know
right.
when Inaji should start dancing. But she was calculating the rhythm, she was calculating everything. It was amazing, amazing.
Right. That well, we can't wait to watch it now. I really want to see that dance sequence. So all know Vikas Khanna, the chef, but is he different from Vikas Khanna, the writer slash filmmaker, or are they alike in some way?
See, running a kitchen of a Michelin star restaurant and doing a movie is very similar, and that is what I had to train myself for.
Hmm.
That movie making is all about extreme planning, and
Yeah.
the dish you eat in your restaurant would take you more than 16 to 22 minutes to finish a dish, right? Maximum.
Yeah.
Like nibbed normal. But imagine how many hours it takes to organize that dish. You need to set up a restaurant, you need to promote the restaurant, you need to hire in the restaurant, the air conditioning has to work, the kitchen has to work, the team has to work, the dish has to be planned, the ingredients has to be procured, the produce has to be delivered, and the chefs have to be trained to make it, and then the dish comes to you and you finish it off just in a fraction of a minute.
Yeah.
Movie making is exactly the same. It took months and months of planning, but the shot which came out was, you will only taste those 30 seconds of the shot.
Yeah, can imagine.
और उस शॉट में सिर्फ वो डिश नजर आएगी, आपको और कुछ नजर नहीं आएगा, राइट? नीना जी इज डांसिंग ऊपर, पर नीचे 100 बंदे खड़े हैं प्लान करने के लिए सब कुछ, राइट?
Yeah, yeah,
तो
right, right.
मुझे लगा कि बहुत सिमिलर है दोनों में, बट एक बात होती है कि रेस्टोरेंट में आपको चांस मिल जाता है दोबारा से, वो आपको फिल्म में भी चांस
हाँ,
मिलता है, यू कैन रीटेक. बट द प्रॉब्लम विद द फिल्म रेस्टोरेंट में, that's one of the most difficult thing, that once a customer has tasted your fresh dish, they don't like it, you are
mhm,
done, you have to restart the whole thing. In movie mein, we won't get a chance. If somebody doesn't like something in the movie, we can't actually go forward and make a change in the movie. So it's a consumerism is different of restaurant, and being the first chef in the world to be making this kind of endeavors, I think it's also challenging for Western chefs to see, who keep used to keep criticizing me, saying that Indian chefs are just clones of each other. To do something which is so
okay,
different than people have ever thought of. तो फिर वर्थ था, रिस्क लेना भी वर्थ था.
definitely, sir. It did pay off, the kind of international acclaim it has been getting. So I would say that it did pay off.
हाय मेरे को तो बहुत. Neena ji was, imagine one of the top actors in the country. She is
Yeah,
such a risk taker, and she decides to take a risk on this chef who's trying to make a movie without understanding how the movie is made. And her support was, oh, every single day we spoke to each other. When we were shooting, when we were doing stuff, when we were editing, when she came for rough cuts, she came for everything. Because if you see a post, every time she writes about Last Will, she says, a movie very close to my heart, a movie very close to
yeah,
my heart.
yeah, yeah. In her
Because she
captions
says,
most
you
of the time.
changed me somewhere. The way you were shooting and you had the faith in me, it changed me.
Right. So, sir, you've like we know that when you write a book and when you make a film out of it, it's definitely, I can imagine it's going to be and it's going to be an experience that's very close to you because you're already so much connected to the characters. You've created them, you've given them life out of nothing. So, is there any character from the film that is very close to your heart, and why would that be?
I think it's always going to be Choti, very close to my heart. Even the
Mm,
police officer is actually very close to my heart. He's an officer who wants a son, and but basically speaking, we change the characters, but many of them are inspired by real life people whom I'd met.
right.
But there's a transgender character which is played by Rudrani. She's an activist. She's a model in Delhi.
Hmm.
And I had auditioned more than 100 transgenders for the role. I wanted a transgender for the role of transgender. And it
Right.
was really amazing when Rudrani was on the set and she was performing. So I think symbolically having a transgender in the movie for telling the story is actually based on a transgender who lives in Varanasi. Her name is
Mm,
Munna. And Munna is like, she's really a protector of all the children who are on the ghats selling diyas or flowers or working with tourists. And she's extremely protective of them. And that is where the character of Rudrani, or we call it the movie mein uska naam Anarkali, came from.
right. So that brings us to my last question. Will we see you directing more films, or do you have something in mind already?
मैं ना हर प्रोजेक्ट, आपको पता था मैं मूवी बना रहा हूँ, इससे को आइडिया था वाराणसी में, वी वर टेलिंग पीपल कुकिंग शो कर रहे हैं.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
we tell
lovely.
people it's a cooking show. So everything will be done undercover. Even my books also, we keep them. Restaurants also, till the day restaurant opens, nobody knows कि
Yeah,
2-2 साल 4-4 साल से रेस्टोरेंट प्लान हो रहा था, प्लानिंग हो रही थी, अंदर ट्रेनिंग चल रही थी, एंड वी
right.
कीप इट अंडर कवर बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि it's okay, and people know it, that they can expect surprise from me. The next surprise is even bigger than this, I must tell you that. But give
All
me a few
right.
months, and this year has been difficult and tough for all of us.
It
But
has. It
next
has
year,
indeed.
what we say, inshallah, you'll be surprised to see some of the works which are coming out.
All right. So I'm really looking forward to the
Likewise.
surprises that you have in store for us. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much